Hey guys, Nando here. I wanted to take a moment before the start of the show and have you like and subscribe to our channel. If you're watching us on YouTube, click on the subscribe button and ring the bell to keep up with the latest videos and catch show early releases. Leave a comment and let us know what you think about the show. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like and share the page and don't forget to leave a comment there as well.
Nando, did you lock me out?
Nope, must be stuck. Okay. Guys, I don't know how long that's going to hold, so don't forget to subscribe. It's very important, and don't forget to tell your friends and fellow filmmakers. Hi. I forgot the second door.
You forgot the second door.
Okay, Jerry, just roll the episode.
Welcome filmmakers, fans, and friends to Indie Cinema Showcase, your #1 source for filmmaking conventions and everything in between. I'm Christina Carmona.
And I'm Nando Luis Roman. Together we'll be bringing you the best and brightest that Central Florida and beyond has to offer.
In today's episode, we'll be speaking with actor and stuntman Anthony Giovanni alias.
We'll also take you to some of our past events, and later on in the show, Tim Anderson will be letting us know what films we should see before we die.
All right, let's get things started with our Industry Insight segment as we sit down with actor and stuntman Anthony Giovanni alias.
In the studio today, we have Anthony Giovanni with us. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
It's a pleasure having you here today. So, actor, stuntman, what was your inspiration?
Oh boy! So I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've always had this energy that was just out of this world. And growing up, I watched movies like Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Van Damme, and all those movies. They have inspired me to actually want to be a martial artist. Right. And that's actually what ended up inspiring or benefiting into the whole movie aspect of it, was because growing up, like I said, I had this crazy amount of energy. I was just a very hyper kid, and so one of the best advice that my mom's ever given about me was that you got to put this kid into like some type of physical sport or activity, something where he can let go of all this energy. And so that was one of the first things she did. She ended up signing me up to martial arts. I was about 7 years old when I did that, and here I am to this day, still studying, still training.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's now 21 years later.
Wow.
You're still
Pro.
You guys still got a long ways to go.
Oh yeah, way long ways.
So tell us a little bit as far as physically and mentally, how do you prepare as a stunt person and as an actor as well?
Constantly keep training. You always have to make sure. I mean, for me, it all started with my martial arts, because for me, that's one of the biggest benefactors into like film fighting. You always have to constantly practice your martial arts, constantly practice your movements, your control, everything. And you always have to also take care of your body, make sure that you're in great physical health, mental health, and just always making sure that you're on a healthy diet. And like I said, just always continue to keep training.
It's no joke, especially being a stunt performer and an actor, that's a physical toll that it takes a lot of you, and mentally as well. So
100%. Now, what is your favorite stunt?
My favorite stunt, I would have to say, it was nothing. Well, actually, yeah, I did this one. It was actually a wire gag that I did for a music video with Bad Bunny. And what we did was that they put a harness under my pants because I was shirtless for the scene.
Got to show off the muscles,
Oh yeah. And they ended up putting me on this wire where Bad Bunny is supposed to do like this little force push thing, and when he does that, we all get yanked across the room or off camera.
Right.
And I would say that would have to be like my favorite stunt, because most of the stunts that I do is usually like film fighting.
Right.
And not to say that that's not stunt work. It is. So most people like in the stunt industry would say, doing a fire gag is a stunt,
Right.
doing a wire gag is a stunt, doing a high fall is a stunt, doing car stunts is a stunt. Those are stunts.
Right.
Yeah. What about the craziest?
I would have to say, and this one I never did on camera, or at least for any film anyways, it would be a high fall. Actually, all thanks to Kevin Rigo. We were doing some high fall training at Kim Kahana's stunt school. And Kevin, he's an absolutely great guy. He actually was the one who inspired me to do the high fall training, amongst other training that we were doing there that day as well, because I tend to kind of stick to my own lane. My thing is like the fight choreography and the performing and stuff. And but as an action performer, he definitely pushed me to learn other stunts. And the thing is, I may not sell it myself, but it's good for me to learn and know the craft and know what to do, especially for my own safety and also at least the safety of my friends that I'm working with. And that was an absolute great experience. And so. That's I would say that would be the craziest thing, because it was maybe about like a 30-foot fall. And it's funny because from the ground it doesn't look that high until you're up there.
Until you're right up there.
And it's like, oh, man, that is some like serious like spirit training, because it's freaky when you're looking down and like, oh boy.
Yeah. And
you hope you're gonna land on the mat and so on. But luckily, it was absolutely safe. You had people down there making sure you land on the mat and so on. And but once you've done the first jump, it's just like, wow, it's just heavily exhilarating. You want to do it again. And it's just, like I said, it's like spirit training. Like you were so scared before you jumped, and then like after you did it, it's just like, I want to do it again.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna take your word for it on that one, because there might be a video somewhere in the archive somewhere of me doing the giant swing.
Oh yeah.
All you hear is me crying from the top all the way down. Like, there's absolutely no way that I can say it's like, oh, that was fun the first time. Let's do it again. No. I get on a step stool, and if it starts jiggling, I start to panic. I don't want to do it. I'll fall from like 30 or 50 feet up. I'll leave that one to you.
Oh man.
To the pros. Yeah.
So let's talk about a little bit about, we talked about your martial arts training background growing up as a kid. Let's talk about a little bit of your mentorship with Maurice Crump.
Oh man, that's a pretty wild story. So Maurice Crump, he has taught me like everything. I mean, he's an international action star himself, but he was a martial arts teacher first. And one day I ended up getting a message, and this is like about shortly after the Protected 2 came out. I ended up getting a message on Facebook, and one of the first questions he asked me was, "What is your end goal? What is it that you're trying to do? What is it that you dream to become?" And it was pretty wild, because the first time I got that message, I'm like, "Am I being messed with right now? Like, is this really him?" And then next thing you know, we ended up having a phone conversation, and then it was truly him. And then we ended up meeting at Applebee's in Tampa, and ever since then, it's how old was I? I had just turned 20 at the time, and so far it's been like 8 years of just constant building, constant guidance. He's been there for me through everything. Again, with martial arts, with my mental training, my physical training, the movie training, just everything. He is like my teacher of life, just all in general. And honestly, I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am today if it wasn't for him. Mentally, physically, in my career and in doing movies, all that. Again, I owe everything to him.
That's fantastic. Everybody should have a person like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. Now, not to be underplayed, you're a stuntman, and that's awesome, but you're also an actor.
Yes, I am.
An actor that can do his own stunts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
So talk to us about acting.
Okay, well, I mean, as far as getting into acting, I did start off doing stunts first. Again, it was so at the time I started my own group called Genesis Action Stunts, and in doing that, it was just me and a few like-minded friends who were at the park, shooting on a little crappy little camcorder. Yes, a camcorder, kids. And all we were doing just shooting just constant choreography. And then what ended up happening was that there was a student at Full Sail University at the time. His name was Vidal Acosta. I'll never forget him. He had an assignment where he was trying to do a documentary on stunts. And instead of actually looking for an already established stunt team, he ended up finding me on social media, and he ended up finding Genesis Action Stunts. And then he ended up deciding to, how about we go ahead and do a documentary on a rising stunt team? What does it take to actually get into stunts, and what's the, what is the training like? What do you have to do, so on. And so me and my friends ended up getting discovered through him, and then there was a whole documentary on us, and what we were doing at the time. And in that time, I was trying to put together my own short film, and I ended up meeting a filmmaker who was working sound in that production, and his name is Andrew Dean, and he ended up giving me one of my first opportunities in a short film called Cope, and it was where
I've actually seen that one.
Yeah. It was where I played this this soldier who was captured for like over 400 days, and he was captured, tortured by the Taliban, and he ended up suffering from PTSD. Right. And so now in this short film, it's supposed to be about him trying to live a civilian life. And although there's no dialogue in that film, it did require a lot of physical acting. And that's really, really where I got my first shot into, first of all, being lead actor in the short film, and on top of that, choreographing the action that was in the film, along with my friends. And it was a great opportunity, and that's really where my acting career kind of sparked from there.
I was gonna ask, like, so being that they're, being an action star is one of those things where you're gonna have that following. You're gonna have those young little Anthonys that are gonna be looking up to you. It's like, what kind of advice would you give young stunt performers or actors that are looking to get into the action industry as you are?
That's a good one.
It's the hot question. Right?
It's a very hot question. Okay, well, first and foremost, keep learning. Keep learning, keep training, keep getting better. Don't ever set a limit of how, to how far, you want to go. Continue to keep breaking barriers. And keep peeling layers about yourself, because again, also in that journey, you end up finding yourself in a long path into self-discovery. And because sometimes you'll go ahead and you paint this little picture for yourself that this is exactly what I want to be. But then as you're going through the journey, you end up learning new things, and then it's just like, okay, maybe I want to go ahead and still do that journey, but maybe do it this way.
Right.
And then you end up taking different paths. And most important thing, especially in the political side of the movie business, is don't network with every person. Network with the right person. Right. Don't take every opportunity. Right. Take the opportunity.
Quality over
quantity.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and most importantly, listen to your teacher. Trust your teacher, because at the end of the day, when you find someone who, like I have, again, my teacher, he's everything to me, and so. Listening to him is one of the best things that I've ever done. And I've also had times where I did it and I learned the hard way. Yeah. And so, but again, that's everyone's journey. Everyone has to sometimes, learn the hard way, and then you end up seeing like, that's what he was talking about, or that's what she was talking about, and so on. Right. And, but yes, most importantly, that last one. Listen to your teacher.
Well, Anthony, thank you so much for being here today. It's been honestly a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah.
Next action star, you heard it here first, Indie Cinema Showcase, Anthony Giovanni.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. So we have high hopes for you. So, make us proud.
Thank you very much. I will.
Now, tell everybody, where can they go to find more information about what you do and what's going on next?
I'm mostly active on Instagram at Anthony Giovanni Elias. And in there you'll constantly see me working on my craft, training, and always trying to put some captions of inspiration. And if you guys ever have any questions when it comes to stunts, acting, or even training, feel free to message me. I'm always ready to answer any questions I possibly can and help build people the way my mentor and other people who inspired me to just say.
Fantastic. He's the guy.
Definitely. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a great time.
If you would like to be a guest, have something to promote, or have your film featured on the show, visit our website at indiecinemashowcase.com. Watch past episodes and help support the show by buying some merch at our online stores.
Also, be sure to follow us on our socials, Facebook at ICSTV and on Instagram at ICSTV Show. You can also reach out to us by emailing us at icstv@yahoo.com.
Hey guys, my name is Anthony Giovanni Elias, and you're watching Indie Cinema Showcase. Let's rock.
Welcome back. On today's On Location with ICS, we take a look at the Kahana Stunt and Film School. So it's an equal amount, 30 years you were in California and then 30 years here.
Yeah, 30.
Wow.
Makes it even.
And so for the trampoline, they practice their falls?
Well, this is the first thing we practice on, so that they can get their body control
Right.
and learn how to use their body and stuff like that, so they can do high falls, roll over a car, or whatever they're doing, how we get it together. But the trampoline is one of the most first things that we learn in the business.
Okay. And then from there, I guess they would move on to...
They move on to rolls, they move on to high falls, they move on to rappelling,
Right.
and many other things that we do here.
That's fantastic. And this is for like any level, right?
Well, it's the first level of you doing stunts, basically.
Okay.
The hard stuff comes when you get hit by a car, turn over a car, do a fire gag, or something like that. It takes more training. You see our mans who do
Okay, so
different type of repellent.
Wow.
That's called an inversion. And then they'll do some other ones for you as you're going down.
That looks like something you'd see in a spy movie.
Right.
That's the way they come down.
Yeah, we just finished that. Now we're doing the high falls. We
right.
come in and do high falls. That's where they learn from the trampoline.
Action!
Right.
Turn around. And, yeah. Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Oh, wow. There's our zip line. It's coming down. Cool.
That's awesome. That was awesome.
Yo,
Good.
That was cool.
So awesome.
anybody get down?
That was great.
These guys are amazing. They really are.
Get my rain can!
Hey guys, I am here with the amazing Kim Kahana, founder of the Kahana Stunt and Film School. Kim, thank you so much for taking the time out.
We're very happy for you to be here.
So we're sitting here, and this is amazing. There's just so much history here. Before we get into anything about the school, I want to know more about you. How did you get involved?
Oh, God, I had no idea what I would do after the Army, coming out of the service. So I went back to knife dancing at the Seven Seas in Hollywood, and they had a lot of waiters that were extras in movies, and they used to ask me to go to the set with them. So I said, well, yeah, I'll go to set with them. And I went there and I saw guys making crosses and talking. And then I saw cowboys on horses and falling off horses. And I would ask, well, how much are they getting? And they would say $200. And I would say, well, geez, in Korea, I was doing that for free. So how do I get in? Oh, you can't get in. It's a tight thing. And I said, well, there has to be a way to get in. He says, well, you got to know the cowboys. So I found out who the best cowboys were, and they were stunt people, and I found out Yakamat Knut was one of the best, Johnny Epper's one of the best. So I went and knocked on their doors and told them I want to be a stuntman. And basically they laughed at me and said, well, get here in the morning. And for 1 year, I cleaned up horse manure for them, just to know what's going on. Never asked for a penny. And they took me aside and took me into the movies and taught me almost everything I know today.
Wow, so that's a true story about hard work, dedication, and networking, like getting to know the people around you and learning their craft. So from there, you just kind of went on. What is one of the biggest stunts you've done?
Oh God, I've done so many, but there was one where I did one called Airport 75 or 77, where I went out of an airplane without a parachute, hooked on to go to another airplane.
Did you have a parachute?
No, I didn't have a parachute, but I got paid $25,000. It was the highest paid stuntman in the world at that time.
Wow, wow, you are incredibly daring. How did you get so daring? Did you?
It was not daring. I was thinking about the money,
Okay.
basically. Because once you have a family and everything, I mean, if you made $10,000 in the days I worked, that was a lot of money. We were working for $8.50. And then when you would do a stunt, you get into $200, $300, and that was called money. So we went for the stunts, the high-paid stunts.
Right. And 25,000. I mean, that's a lot now.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
it's even more. Wow. So naturally, you went ahead and took that expertise and you wanted to build your own school. How did that start?
Well, in the business, I wanted to learn everything. I'm the type of guy that I wanted to learn cameras. I wanted to learn direction. I wanted to learn production, money, and so forth. And I would step in those fields. In those days, if you were a nice guy, you could go to the office and ask questions, and they would help you. Today, they'll throw you out of the office. But I went in there, and then getting into stunt work, for about 10 years, it took me to get into the Stunt Association, what was the biggest thing you could do in those days. And then I would see a lot of people getting hurt. And I was thinking, I had karate schools, and a lot of stunt guys would come there and learn roles and stuff. And I said, why don't I open up a stunt school? And I talked to the agency and the stunt people, and they said, never going to work. And I said, well, I'm going to try it anyway. And I thought if I did that, maybe some of the people wouldn't get hurt as bad as they did or killed. So I did open it, and I had to resign from the Stunt Association because I didn't want to involve other people to say what I wanted to do. And it took me about 3 years before everybody came forward and said, you know, that's a pretty good idea.
For those that are interested in the stunt school, where can they go? Where can they find information?
They can find it on the internet, and I do have an interview with everybody. I don't care if you're in Paris or whatever. I want to see what the student is like. If he's 18 years old, if he's 27 years old, 50 years old. I don't want to hear it from your parents. I want to hear it from them. Why would they want to be in this business? Is it the money? Is it the glory? Is it the fame? What reason do you want to do it? I did it because I had no other way to go. I had no education, so I can't be a mechanic or something. I have to be something that's on the job.
Thank you so much for talking to me, guys. If you want to go to a stunt school, this is where it's at. Kahana Stunt School, Stunt and Film School. These guys are amazing. Kim is amazing. Thank you so much again for everything that you did today. Your team is amazing.
Well, your team, too, was perfect. They worked with us like pros, and they were pros, our pros.
Maybe next time we'll, do some type of fall. I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Kim doesn't know it, but I've totally adopted him as my grandpa. And I think you should definitely jump off of the tower.
If I end up jumping off the tower, I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up dying. And that would make Tim Anderson very sad.
But it'll look so epic.
Let's head over to the beautiful Enzion Theater so Tim Anderson can let us know which films we should see before we die.
Hey everybody, this is Tim Anderson. I am programming coordinator for Enzion Theater and the Florida Film Festival. And this is a segment that we like to call Films to See Before You Die. I'm really excited about the movie that I'm going to talk about today. As you guys have been following the series, perhaps you'll notice that I have been illustrating movies specifically based on inspiration I think that you guys can see Citizen Kane anytime you want to see Citizen Kane, so go watch Citizen Kane, but that's not the movie I'm recommending today. The movie that I want to talk about today is from a filmmaker who has spent the last 30 years of his career essentially blowing up independent cinema and utilizing technology in ways that's phenomenally exciting. But I think that sometimes when we look at all these giant green screen productions that this director is making now, we forget how simple his roots were. So the film that I am highlighting tonight is El Mariachi, 1992, directed by Robert Rodriguez. The film was made for $7,000. It was shot for the Mexican VHS market. Rodriguez legendarily subjected himself to medical testing to get the money to make the movie. He went into a live-in facility. He chronicles all of this in a book you need to read before you die called Rebel Without a Crew. Definitely check that one out. But the thing to take away when you watch El Mariachi is not that he only spent $7,000 to make it. In fact, actually set that aside and watch the movie and think what you think it would cost to make this as a high-level action-adventure, sort of Hitchcockian wrong man Mexican cartel movie. He shot it in Mexico, so obviously he got a little bit more bang for his buck. But the thing about what Rodriguez did with this and why I think it's important to understand the movie and see it and take inspiration from it is that Rodriguez made the film knowing immediately what the market and release strategy was going to be for the movie. So, well aware of the Mexican VHS market, was very big in the 1990s, and said, if I make this movie, we'll throw it out, it's gonna get into some video stores, maybe I'm gonna make back 3, 4, 5 times my money, that'll give me a little bit more money, and I'll be able to start working on my next project. So the film, to me, exists as something incredibly amazing, not only because he did make an action movie with like real crazy stunt work and people like, you know, zip-lining off of buildings and gunfire and fighting and just amazing, incredible cinematography considering that all of the stuff they were working with was like bottom of the barrel equipment. But it's also because it gives you guys an idea of putting together a movie with a very definitive, very special idea about where you want the movie to end up. You know, who are you making this movie for? Why are you making this movie? What is the end game for this film? And then at the end of the day, it's just a raucous comedy with lots of incredible action movies and just a little badass movie. And then a kick in your head that they only paid $7,000 to make it, and you guys are gonna have a blast. Definitely a movie to see before you die. Definitely check that one out. And I hope you love it. Thanks again, everybody, for joining me. I had a great time with it. I hope you love the movies. I'm Tim Anderson. Christina, Nando, back to you.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of ICS. We want to thank Anthony Giovanni Elias for sitting down with us, Kim Kahana, and Tim Anderson for those great movie suggestions.
So, I know that I joked about jumping out of the tower, but if we ever go back, I'm definitely gonna do it.
You heard that, Kim. So invite us back because I want to see this.
You're always so quick to see me in danger. Well, we hope you learned something new, saw something that you love, or got inspired to get off your couch and go make a movie of your own. Who knows? It might be good enough for us to screen on the next Indie Cinema Showcase.
Don't forget to follow us on our socials, Facebook at ICSTV, Instagram at ICSTV Show, and YouTube at Indie Cinema Showcase.
And if you want your chance to have your work, event, convention, or film festival featured on ICS, send us an email at icstv@yahoo.com.
Until then, the set is closed, and as they say in the movie business, that's a wrap.
See you next time.